G'day guys, how are you? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tom Williamson. I'm the head of social for KWPI, and thanks so much for coming down and joining us at the office tonight to watch the presentation of the Uganda Project, Our Stories. Before we kick off, I just wanted to go through a little bit of housekeeping. You give 2 hours, there's some excellent wine and beer on offer, so you probably need to go to the bathroom. If you do need to go, it's just out the boardroom door to your left, go to the bottom of the stairs, turn right, turn left, go down the other side of the stairs until you get to another corridor. Don't go up the stairs, go down the stairs, keep going straight forward, turn left in the bathroom's on your right. And AK has some nappies apparently, I don't know how to take those go. So, we're going to show you a video, and Andrew's going to introduce himself as well and tell you a little bit more about the Kain Foundation. But just before we do, I was on the Uganda Project this year, and up until then I'd heard people talking about the Kain Foundation around the office. I was like, oh, okay, there's another pro bono night. All right, yeah, we've all had them. And then I looked at some of the work that we were doing, and I looked at the video, and I saw the annual report, and of course we don't get paid in cash for that sort of stuff. But what we do get paid in something a whole lot more valuable than money, and a whole lot more valuable than a lot of our clients do for us. And that's to take one member of our staff over to Uganda and work on the Uganda Project every year. And I went this year. Lucy, who's at the back, just over there, she went the year before, and both of us have come back with a completely different outlook and perspective on the way we work and the way we approach our work, the way we approach life in general. And being a corporate partner with the Kain Foundation has, it's not just enriched myself and Lucy, but the people that we talk to around the office as well definitely feel the ripple effect of our experience over there. So, without dragging on too long, I'd like to introduce you to the chairman of the Kain Foundation board and also chairman of the KWPI board. Andrew, thank you.
Have you heard something? Thanks, Tom. I love getting these notes together. You do so much preparation, and of course you inevitably screw it up, but we'll see how we go. On behalf of the board, 2 of us are here. Johnny, and you can see him from 1,000 miles away. Here's the guy that's 7'9" with gyro gearless his hair, and he's the founder of the foundation. I mean, he's a truly inspirational man. But there are other board members, and I'm sure they'd welcome you all here tonight. And on our board is Tegan Knight, Mark Booth, Michael Twelvetree, and I'm sure, and I thank you all for coming this afternoon. I'd like to just explain basically what it is the Kain Foundation, charitable foundation does. Really, really simple. We work alongside corporate and the community sectors to create opportunities for children and youth in need in Australia and Uganda. Very, very simple. That's our vision, and it's in Australia and Uganda. Now tonight's about Uganda, and rightly so, because we've just done, but we're doing some amazing things in Australia. None more amazing than the near north of this place, where you find in the area of youth and children, or youth unemployment, we have 4 of the highest indexing places in Australia. So that's amazing. So that's what we do. There's an annual report, and it's online because we're modern people. And if you go to the annual report and have a look at it, there's some words there that I think are really, really worth thinking about. And it's this: we believe in a 2-way opportunity for children and youth to fulfil their potential and for business and their employees to experience and work on projects. We exist quite simply to enrich lives. I mean, money, skills, everything aside, the real emotional connection to this foundation with the work we do is that we actually feel we are enriched by what we do and what we get involved with. And it's a really, really important thing. We think that it's as much about, for us, the enrichment we derive as the enrichment the children and youth we work with derive. So there's no sort of sense amongst us in the foundation that we're just terrific and we're helping these poor bastards. We're actually being helped too, and it's really important to know that. And I think it's uplifting. It's a two-way street. Now, I'm a copywriter by trade, so I'm really clever with words. We are enriched, but we are not rich. How did he come up with that? And neither should we, by the way. We shouldn't be rich. Our funding model, and I want to talk about that, is simple. And it simply won't allow us to be rich. That's the other thing, which is not the reason I signed on. I thought I was going to get rich. No, that's not. I like to think our funding model, in some ways, sets us apart from other organisations. With no time or overhead spent on direct fundraising. None of the overheads are spent on direct fundraising. The foundation utilises resources and contributed by corporate partners to support the administration of the foundation and directs 95% of funds, direct to projects through corporate partner-driven funding schemes. 95% goes to people and projects, 5% goes to administration. And I think that's a pretty good balance. Is that my phone? That's my wife's phone. That's my wife, Pauline. The Kain Charitable Foundation is enriched. The theme of my thing tonight is enrichment. It's all about enrichment, both ways. But we're enriched by corporate partners like Two Hands, Help and Financial Services, Kain Lawyers, Blue Sky Investment Group, KILLEY Jones Lawyers, KWPI, where you are tonight. And I really sincerely, as chairman of the foundation, thank you all. It's easy to say, but we really, really mean it, and we do thank you. But the good news is we have more room for corporate partners. More room for corporate partners. Let me say that for the third time. We have more room for corporate partners. And enrichment comes in many forms. Take today, for example. We are enriched by the generosity of KWPI, and I see some of the senior executives here, like James, Nat, Jackpot, you're here, someone. We're for letting us use this room. And I say, how times have changed. I mean, Friday afternoons in advertising agencies used to be like crossing the Gaza Strip. However, as far as I can see, it's pretty safe so far times. No flares gone on for anything. We're also enriched, and indeed we are refreshed, thanks to the generosity of Two Hands Wines, Kain Lawyers, Blue Sky, and who have supplied some wonderful wine and beer. And we really do thank you for that. You need a drink when you're listening to me. And we are enriched by talented, hard-working people like ELIZA, LeMESSURIER, Danielle Robson, our volunteers, and we're enriched by our ex-alumni. I'd like to have any ex-alumni here that have been on the journeys. I know you're there, Lisa Noblett. Anyone? No? Well, Representing, if there's anyone here who's done it, you're very welcome, you're much appreciated, and thank you for coming. Now, I have a very enjoyable task this afternoon, and that is to share a world premiere movie event with you. I mean, I don't want to oversell it, and I am an advertising. But before I do that, I want to suggest that the Kain Charitable Foundation can enrich the lives of your business, your people, and children and youths in need in Australia and Uganda. Enlist today. If not, get some information today. Just watch the movie, be inspired, you will be motivated. Talk to the people who are there, talk to past alumni, talk to anyone on the board. There's two of us here. We want you to become a corporate partner of the foundation. That's pretty clear, isn't it? I mean, I made a point. Now for the movie. I'd like to channel David Streckman for this introduction. We all know who David Streckman is, and Margaret Pomerantz. So, without trying to imitate David Streckman, let me just say what he might say about this movie. Yeah, whatever, Margaret, you're an absolute pain in the butt. And that's where your taste in movies resides. Margaret, I disagree totally. I give this movie 10. It has style, substance, and has more twists and turns than a Royal Commission into union corruption. I simply adored the accomplished dance scenes with ELIZA, LeMESSURIER, and Danielle Robinson. Tom Williamson, what a surprise package there, looked convincing in leather work gloves. The music is wonderful and the children are engaging beyond belief. There is a poignant scene delivered by James FREARSON-LEA, one of the most unexpected and honest performances I have ever seen. Hard to believe he's a lawyer, really. Margaret, this production wasn't without some drama on the set. No, not tantrums from the stars, something quite unexpected. Tom Koutsantonis was sacked as dialogue coach. The producers told me that the way the dialogue was heading, under Tom's direction, it would have only ever been seen in art houses. And they wanted GA rating and they didn't want to offend public servants. Yes, Margaret, despite your idiotic critique, I give this 10. Over to you, Tom.
You go and spend time with these communities and you walk away feeling absolutely blessed.
Something I'll hold in my heart forever.
It puts into perspective how lucky we are. We've built up a bond with these guys. We're laughing, we're joking. We've got a game of football with them tomorrow, which, as always, I'll be pretty competitive with that. So it's a really nice vibe.
We are very glad to receive you. From the Rongojans you have passed through to come and celebrate with us too. Our dear visitors, you are highly welcome. We are very glad to receive you. From the Rongojans you have passed through to come and celebrate with us today. Our dear visitors, you are highly welcome. We are very glad to receive you. From the Rongojans you have passed through to come and celebrate with us today. Our dear visitors, you are highly welcome. We are very glad to receive you. From the Rongojans you have passed through to come and celebrate with us too. Our dear.
Wow. Yeah.
go inside and I'll show you the rooms. So we have 8 children living in this house. A water source there. This is the second bedroom for the girls. Yes. I'll take you around to the kitchen. Really good facilities here. And we've got a shower there and a working toilet. I'll just have a quick look in Mama's room. There's Mama. It's really hard sometimes to talk about the difference that you make, because inevitably we want to try and do it altruistically, but you go and spend time with these communities and you walk away feeling absolutely blessed.
It started with the sing-song, and then Freo and I were lucky enough to take one of the classes and teach them. We took the children aged 3 to 10 and they were so clever.
It puts into perspective how lucky we are, but it also shows how beautiful some people are in the world. The brothers and the matrons who work there, just some of the most amazing people.
It's been really great to get to know some of the guys. Some of them are actual orphans who have been here and have now learnt their trade and are now actually building other buildings. It's brilliant here. They have a primary school, a secondary school, and all the facilities you could possibly imagine. It's just a brilliant facility that the Kain Foundation's actually been contributing to.
I guess it kind of made us realise that what we have at home is it's not the bare essentials. It's probably a little excessive to what we actually need.
I felt very proud to be part of this organisation and to see the outcome of their commitment, and I just hope and pray that it continues for a very long time to come.
The difference we've made, it's really hard to measure, but to me it's actually about connection. And when I walk into that community now and they know me because I've been there multiple times, they welcome me as a family member. For me, the difference is about that connection now. It's Uganda, Australia together, and that's the most important thing.
want to acknowledge all the hard work that went into that video. I want to thank Tom, sitting beside me, who has done so much work since Uganda on all our social media and PR, and we are just indebted to him. And I also want to thank Andy and Riley Scott, who actually put a video together and have just done a fantastic job. So thank you, Tom. Thank you, Andy and Riley. Now to the juice of the evening. The Uganda Project is a life-altering experience for an individual and also for a team. There are alumni here tonight because I know your faces, and the 5 people sitting up beside me represent over 40 volunteers from different businesses who have participated in the Uganda Project since 2009. I'll just ask each of this year's travellers to introduce themselves and provide me with one word which sums up your trip.
I'm Tom from KWPI, and one word to sum up my trip would be honoured.
Hello, my name is Ben Corbett from LeSTGEEK. My word would be unforgettable.
Hello, my name is James FREARSON-LEA from Kain CNC Lawyers, and my word would be humbling.
Hi, I'm STEPIC-CLARK from Blue Sky, and my word would be surreal.
Hello, my name is Nicole, and I'm from KWPI Lawyers, and I actually can't figure out a word. There are just too many. So, but I would say enthralled by everybody there.
My name is ELIZA, LeMESSURIER, and I'm the Executive Officer of the Foundation. And this is
Danielle, I'm from Two Hands, and I'm also the Support Manager of the Foundation. My word would be proud.
My word would be humbled. Now, we'll kick off into the questions. I want you guys to get a bit of an insight into the Uganda Project. We're not here to sell it to you, we're here to share the stories that exist and the sort of experiences that you get when you go over to Uganda and meet the incredible people who are there. I'm going to kick off with Frio. James recently. This is your first experience in a country like this. You stepped off the plane, and I met you after 24 hours travelling. What was your initial impressions when we started to drive?
So I can't swear.
Minimal.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So just a bit of background, I've only ever been overseas once. The only place I went overseas was New York, and it's a pretty different experience than what I went into. And I just remember I got the luggage and when we met ELIZA up front from Danny, and there was just like, don't take this the wrong way, there was just black people like everywhere. And I've never experienced any, like being a minority in that sort of situation. And there was just, the place was just teeming with people. Like I'd never experienced it. Get in the car and holy shit. Like, we drove from Entebbe to Kampala, which was about 45 minutes or something. And I thought, yeah, that's it. I've come here to die. You know, there were cars overtaking on the footpath. Well, there wasn't a footpath, it was just dirt on the verges, but the verges were full of shops and clothes racks and things, and there's cars overtaking like through those areas. And then there's cars going 2 and 3 wide, and they could see another car coming. So you know, like we see another car coming, so now another way. They just back themselves at the other car will break. And then they come in. There's these motorbikes just going. I've never been to India or through Asia, and I understand it's pretty similar. Motorbikes with 3, 4, 5. The best we saw was 6 people on one motorbike. Not a helmet inside. Yeah, I just thought, to be honest.
You thought, what did I cut you into?
I thought, what the?
What about you, Strav? This is one of your first experiences in Africa? Yes. And tell me about your initial impression after the drive and perhaps on the first project that we visited.
Okay, so the first project we went to was on a walking tour with the hospital staff. And talk about being thrown in the deep end. There was no softly being into it. We walked around through some of the slums and were invited into people's homes, and there were people literally, died in their beds and been bedridden for a long time. It was very confronting, particularly for the first day, it's the first thing. But then we saw the good work that the people there were doing, they were making a difference. The people were so welcoming. That was the case everywhere we went. They made you feel welcome. It didn't matter if they didn't have anything, they invited you into their house. I was just blown away.
Can I just jump in on the first day? Or compare, because this is a pretty funny story.
We were actually talking about if we were going to get asked this question, because our first experience when we were both walking out into the slums, that morning at breakfast, we were discussing the drive from the airport. That was pretty crazy. What have we got ourselves into? And we were talking about the sort of the vaccinations that we had. And it was like, 10 vaccinations in one hit. Did you get the rabies? $300, no way. What's the likelihood of running into a rabid dog? Yeah, never gonna happen. Day one. Step into the slums, the first thing you see, if you ever thought a dog that looks like it's got rabies, this is it. It's like this droopy eye, it's slightly foaming, and it looks straight at me and Priya, we're like, what the shit? So that was day one.
Tommy, when I went on a different community visit than driving a couple of the others, do you want to outline a couple of the visits we had?
Yeah, sure. So we started out and we've got these community visits, are you talking about the slides? Yeah. So these community visits are headed up by a volunteer doctor and 2 interns, and they've got a bag of stuff, a bag of drugs, and we think that they're genuine sort of medicinal drugs that are prescribed, and that's what it is. And we've also got mosquito nets. So as we're stopping by each person, I guess, on his rounds, on their rounds, we're being introduced, and they lay out a mat, and it's tough because you see these people who find it so difficult to move, and yet they get up and they go out of their way and they lay down mats for 10 of us, 7 of us, something ridiculous, and they make sure that we're comfortable before they sit down, and then they receive their meds. Which their meds are normally Panadol and vitamins, no matter what you're on, that's what you get. That and a mosquito net, that'll fix anything. So, and one lady in particular who had a stroke, she was 70, she looked about 40, and they've got this insane skin over there. But she had a stroke and she couldn't move, or she couldn't move one side of her body. But every day she gets up and she hoes her garden by propping herself up against the wall and hoeing her garden. And it's just absolutely incredible. Some of the other people that we visited had severe eye problems that they couldn't go outside, and in that environment when they don't have big houses, they're living in a slum, they're living in a shack type thing, and they can't go outside, and the sunlight hurts their eyes. It's just it's not an enjoyable situation for them to be in. But like with everywhere we went, there were kids running around playing. We were there during school holidays, so there was an extra amount of kids that were running around playing, super, super happy, and just the most welcoming, kind-hearted people.
Then later that day, we just saw the photo there of the Kain Cup. Do you want to take us through the Kain Cup being the competitive one of the team?
Absolutely. So, as it was sort of described, we were thrown in the deep end. In the morning, we went in the slums, and then we were very excited. Well, I was particularly excited having a bit of football, proper football, soccer, as you call it here, and there was a bit of a tournament on the go. And I used the word pitch loosely. There was some interesting obstacles throughout the sort of designated area. But these kids were just unreal. They were so good. I mean, you know, we were given the what was considered an easy option. We faced the under-10s. So yeah, we can take them. We've got this. Yeah, we got destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. I think there were broken toes. There was at least 3 people that fell over and just got completely covered in dust. But yeah, just amazing that they so happy to be there, and just being around the joy. They were so excited that we could come there to play, and they were like, come on, get involved, like, let's play together. And yeah, as atrocious as my performance was on the football field, it was just great to see their excitement about us all sort of, you know, being present. And yeah, they were good. If you give them a decent pitch, and they would just be unstoppable. So an amazing day.
Nick, on day 3, we got in the van and we went north to one of our new projects that we'll talk about later, the Junior Landcare Initiative in Masaka. We drove into that school and something pretty special happened. Describe that for us.
They were waiting for us, and fortunately we were on time, which was a very important thing in Uganda. Although it's African time, they're quite punctual people. And they had all the children standing there in a row, and they welcomed us with singing. And that was quite breathtaking and also humbling to see these kids were dressed to the tins, and you could see they were cleaned up that morning. They had polished shoes. They were really at their best presentable and on the best behaviour. They had a ferocious principal that made sure that even we were supervised and controlled. We could actually come and supervise one of our schools here. It was so, you know, disciplined. And so that was breathtaking, and it was beautiful to see these children. And we were then ushered through the school to the principal's office, where he then, as I said, in a disciplinary way, we had to sit in front of him at the little tables, and he was right front on a stage. And if, you know, we were the children, and he was in charge, and he took us through the whole history of the school. And then that was just quite funny, because we kept looking at each other and trying not to giggle, because the principal was there watching us at every move. And then the children just kept on standing up every time we moved. They would also, because they were in the field, they were you know, sitting cross-legged, but every time we moved, they would stand up, and then the teachers would say, no, sit down, not here. So we felt obliged that we needed to quickly have a look around the school, which was magnificent. I mean, beautiful fields and green, luscious grass. You know, when you can smell the vegetation, it's like a rotting smell, but it's like that rich manure. It's still, for me, I find it's fertile. It's a fertile smell. It's a lovely scent, and everything is growing in abundance. And teaching the children how to grow. Sustainability is a key word, because Uganda is not about charity. They're not looking for handouts. Not once did I get that impression they are a charity case, and they want to look after themselves. They're very proud people, and I got that impression from the way they presented themselves in their schooling. And they want to grow their own crops, so the children can eat it at lunchtime, because they don't have tuck shops there like our schools. And take the food home, nourish their parents, sell the product, make money for themselves and the school, and then buy more seeds and replant, and it just carries on, and germination just takes place. So that was quite thrilling to see, and I'm very proud of that fact, and that we're looking at the Landcare project going forward.
Thank you. Something amazing about Landcare is that it actually started in Australia, and we were a bunch of Australians over there learning about Landcare from Ugandans, and that was a pretty amazing experience from your children. Strav, you were also part of that day. What sort of sensations were going on when you had to sit down for the community lunch? Talk us through what was on the plate.
Very interesting. I quickly became a vegetarian like Tom. But they always offered us everything they had, and to be offered meat was really a special thing. And if they had it, they put it all out there on the plate. So we had to eat everything that was on our plates. We could be very and leave it, and it was trying. But for me, the best bit of that day was that was where we got to interact with the children and just sitting down in the grass with all the children, playing, patty cake or whatever, was just the best time.
I think that was one of the first schools we visited, but a couple of days later we went to Balesa. Freo, do you want to take us through one of the first experiences you and Zdrav had at Balesa? Teaching the kids.
I love Balesa, that was really cool. So yeah, Zdrav and I got to, I think we ended up teaching for about 2.5 hours or something.
Yeah, we taught 3 to 10-year-olds.
3 to 10-year-olds. You soon, you're up, yeah, we'll do this, bang, 10 minutes in, we're looking at each other going, we have nothing left. We're out of ammo, and you've got all these kids just going, what the hell are these guys doing? But yeah, we came up with things, tried to teach them about our country, but they were just amazing. I mean, to say that they've got limited infrastructure and, compare the schools that we have to what they deal with, they're pretty amazing kids. That one girl in particular could just spell, who can spell Australia, and she's just like A-U-S, like perfect. We hold up a picture of 2 kangaroos and she just drew it, absolutely amazing. I mean, she was a standout, but all of them were really good, really well-mannered children. Wasn't at the lesson, but I have an idea why they're so well behaved. When we were at the first school, we were getting shown the veggie patches and stuff, and I just turned around and was watching the kids, and there were a couple of young lads, obviously just like mucking around just a little bit, like nothing ridiculous. And I saw this teacher come from the back, wow, this massive cane, cracked these 2 kids on the top of their head. And they were just like, and I'm like, oh, that's why they were behaved. We need that in Australia. But yeah, and we got through it. We did some craft and stuff with them, and it was just a cool experience. Really. Yeah.
Balesa is one of the schools that we've currently got on our Watch This Space section of our strategy, which we'll talk about a bit later. And we've currently been donating a couple of terms worth of porridge and some desks every year, but we're really looking into the next 5 years to really help them to build some sustainable projects. And really get their school to where it can be really educating the children and moving forward. Tom, do you want to take us through your yoga and dance classes?
So, I thought it'd be a good idea to take a portable speaker over to Uganda for, I'm not even sure what was it. Oh, no,
it's more than a 9-hour, the movies.
Yeah, so we showed them a movie, which we'll improve on next year, it can go so well. But we took the speaker for that, and Ben came up with a decent idea to. Ben came up with an idea to play musical statues on the ovals. We brought this portable speaker out, hooked up Danielle's iPhone, jumped on Spotify, found a few songs. I think it was Boom Shake the Room first day, which they thought was great. And then we thought we'll put Waka Waka on, like the Shakira World Cup song. And I have never seen so many kids so ridiculously excited, simultaneously singing along to Waka Waka. So then we broke out Running Man, naturally. Any blind man has to dance in Africa. So Ben and I were dancing with this speaker, running around. And eventually the speaker had to go away because we needed to do some other stuff. But as soon as we went back to the car and brought it out again, hearing however many kids, a couple of hundred kids screaming at you, wanting to hear music again, was just unbelievable. And although we think that, I think it's naive because to think that they haven't seen that sort of technology before. Because as soon as I hit pause on Spotify and it makes that sound, like the pause sound, they all go, pause. They're totally down with it and know what it's like. On the last day that we were there, we basically split up into 2 groups. One group would move around the community and go and see how the community lived. And the other group were left at that school working with the kids and taking lessons. And we didn't take a lesson that day. Nix and I decided that it wasn't going to be a lesson day. We were going to stay outside on the field, play some games, we played Duck Goose, kids read us some stories, we played Hokey Pokey, and then to try and keep them calm because they don't have a ridiculous amount of water, it's not like they can go and get a bottle and scull it. So running around at that time kind of tires them out. So I thought we'll do some yoga. So I got them in a circle, taught them downward dog, taught them child pose, had them doing like the sun salutation stuff, standing on one leg, doing the whole big boodle, and they absolutely loved it. And we did one session, and then there it is. That's downward dog. And then later on, once the other group had come back, we go into another session. They all like jumped around in a circle. With 60 or 70 kids in a circle, all making all the noises that we're asking them to make, like shaking their heads, and going down. It was great. It was good.
Dee, I've actually got a question for you, because Craig's not back. We have one more member of our team who couldn't make it tonight, and I just want to acknowledge him, Craig Hill from Health and Financial Services. Health joined us this year, and he was a really incredible addition. And you and Craig conducted a workshop on the second day. Tell us about some of the problems that actually exist in this community that you heard from the teachers.
Craig and I ran a session with some of the teachers and some of the parents on the school council, and it was a really valuable session because, as I mentioned, it's a school we're looking at contributing to in the future a bit more, and it was just really interesting to get all of the different perspectives on what they think the school actually needs. Talking to some of the teachers, for example, the main driver that parents send their kids to school is to be fed. And whilst people have been donating food, they don't actually have the resources to cook the food or the teaching staff to stop teaching the children to actually go cook the food. So whilst we've been contributing porridge, they also need to buy wood and have a staff member available to cook the porridge. So it was really interesting learning, on a day-to-day basis what they need. We also spoke to some of the parents and parents who were well educated, so they had seen quite a few different schools in the community, and one parent who had actually chosen to take his children out of that school because it wasn't as good as another school, but he was still being involved in the school because he wanted this community to build a better school. We talked about simple things like there's not enough textbooks. There's 20 kids in the class and there's 2 textbooks, but all the kids have to sit the same exam at the end of the year. So for me, that was just, unheard of. Kids get one book every couple of weeks here, so it was just interesting to sort of hear all those day-to-day really small things that the school really needs that we take for granted.
I'm conscious of time, so I might just propel this forward a bit. Frio, tell me about Missionaries of the Poor, and just explain a little bit to everyone here who hasn't been there about the organisation and about the people who look after others there.
It's an absolute cincher. So, for those that haven't seen my blog, Missionaries of the Poor, it started in the West Indies. It's now grown internationally. Group of brothers who go and look after those who have no one else to look after them. It's basically a orphanage in Kampala that we went to, but they're all around the world. And it's just amazing. I've never seen anything like it. So the orphanage we went to was 198 girls, I think. So no boys, but that sort of tugged at my heartstrings because I've got 3 girls at home, and you can't help but compare what you're seeing to what you've left behind at home. So I'm seeing these girls and going, oh yeah, she's 5, she's 3, she's 2, oh that's Alice, me and Bella, and thinking, shit, so, yep, come on. How lucky we've got it at home. But also, as I said, these girls are lucky because the brothers and the matrons who work there are awesome, and they really look after them. They're fed, they're entertained. They've got little school programs and things like that. the degree of disability and stuff and stuff. So some of these kids, they're born, and the first day they're born, they're abandoned by their parents because the parents know that they can't, just don't have the means to look after these kids. So they're better off abandoning them and hoping that they get picked up by the missionaries driving around the streets than taking them and not being able to look after them. So yeah, it's pretty confronting. Yeah, awesome. And just seeing the missionaries and the matrons, you know, how wonderful they are, just made me really think there's some really good people in the world. You hear a lot of crap about the world and you think it's a terrible place, and you walk around downtrodden how bad everything is, and you see some people like that and you think it's actually not that bad a place after all.
Then after we went out of missionaries in Nepal, we hopped in the bus on our way to Gulu, and I remember you having a bit of confusion in your mind. Can you remember that? About the experience that you had there?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. So we went to missionaries in Nepal after being at the school at Balesa, and you know, Balesa, it was, you know, literally a sort of mud building, and we'd been engaging with these kids. And then I guess there'd been a lot of sort of preparation for missionaries in Nepal. We knew that it was going to be very confronting, and I was, you know, nervous about how this was, you know, how I was going to deal with this heavily physically and mentally handicapped young children there, which, you know, even in the best of care situations is going to be incredibly confronting. But in, you know, parts of, you know, Kampala in Uganda, you knew there's going to be extra confronting. And we sort of went in there, and you know, as Freya mentioned, it's actually an international organisation, so they have sort of various different sort of funding groups, and well, they've actually got music here, and there's a tiled floor, and there's a lot of good things here. This is great, but then you sort of think, well, you know, from a sort of, I guess, you know, a donation sort of point of view, are they just as sort of worthy? We've just been to somewhere else where the donations would be, you know, they would have a much bigger impact, and you almost feel where, you know, you're not sure if, you know, where should you focus your efforts? You want a good return, and I kind of felt a bit, I guess, I don't know, guilty or not sure of myself, because it's, yeah, they've got funding, obviously they're in need, but we've seen another place where there would have been a much bigger impact. And yeah, I guess I was just a bit unsure of myself.
Did you enjoy that questioning in your mind?
It was definitely a new valid questioning, that's for sure. I mean, I came to the point where, you know, everything that we did, every environment, every group that we engaged with, you saw the difference that we made just on the kids. You know, they were so appreciative, and that's, you know, so it was nice to reflect on that, to say yes, we're making a difference. I guess I was thinking sort of more bigger picture. So yes, it was still a good exercise to undertake.
Yes, we, after Missions of Nepal, went all the way up to Gulu, did some building for a day or two, and then we spent the afternoon with one of the house mums. Can you explain to us that whole experience and how you felt and how we were welcomed into her home?
They are so welcoming. I mean, we had fears about what we were going to experience there, but they opened the door, and immediately you're ushered to a table, just bending under the weight of a lot of food, and we, you know, you don't know where to begin because there's so much food, and you're kind of hesitant because you know that there's a need for food, but that doesn't stop you, and it shouldn't, and you mean to sit down and partake and eat because it is their generosity, and it's a gesture of their love and their welcome to you. So the food was absolutely beautiful. I'm from South Africa, you might have guessed. So I'm quite used to being around a lot of black people. So my experience in Uganda wasn't totally surprising, and I didn't feel uncomfortable around black people, and the food was quite something that I've seen before, but a lot of people are initially taken aback because it is in quantities that they dish up for you. There's a lot of starchy products in the food, and some of them can give you a bit of diarrhea if not careful. Maybe have a bit of constipation, then a good place to go to the walk again. We're fortunate enough to be allowed to dish up our own food because the dish I think was at Melissa, where they literally, a ladle is like half a spade. So it was quite daunting trying to finish your food. And of course we kept it on the ELIZA and I was glaring at us saying, eat every drop of food, anything, you know. So we kind of settled, by the time we got to food, we were kind of in the zone and we knew what to expect food-wise. But absolutely delicious food. Salt is a security. I would suggest bringing your own salt. Have a proper salt and pepper but things like rice and Irish potatoes, which is a more expensive elite product, by the way, which is just peeled white potatoes boiled, and spinach and the most divine fruit ever tasted in my life. Bananas, sweet little miniature finger size, but sweet as can be. And pineapple that was just dripping with juice. We didn't find it here. Our bananas are so bland. And even in South Africa, by the way, I'm not running you down. But the most gracious and even the children, they sit on the floor while you sit at the table. And it's even traditional for the wife to sit on a mat while the men sit at the table. And it's not a derogatory thing. We would think that in this country, but not in their country. Something that is probably looked up to as a wife of a great. Her husband is something of greatness to her if she sits on the floor and he sits at the table. So there's a lot of things, a lot of different cultures where we can learn from each other when we look at ourselves.
Joanne, I'm going to cut you off next. Cut you off. Strav, can you, besides the diarrhea and all of the weird meat we were served, can you take us through one of your biggest challenges emotionally on the trip? Okay. When I went to Uganda, I said I was going to do a try everything because I can get quite emotional, particularly when it's children involved. And I think I did do everything except when we were at missionaries before. They were just having their lunch, so like everywhere else, we always jumped in and helped out, whatever they were doing. And up until that point, of time, you know, you could say, oh, get a grip, this needs to be done, let's do it. But when we were there, I finally lost it, just looking at those kids, and I just had to take 10 minutes out, go back to the van and regroup, because it was just too
Yeah. Ben, can you take us through what one of the challenges being back has been? I know I'm certainly having a few.
No, definitely. You know, coming back, a lot of friends, family, colleagues had sort of seen the vlogs, and see the first question was, you know, how was it? My biggest challenge has been sort of trying to put it into words. You know, I felt incredibly fortunate that the group of people that went on this trip were amazing. It was such a wonderful experience, and yet it's so difficult. You know, I've been that person that have asked friends that have done similar things, and you know, how was it? Tell me about it. And you just, you know, I understand now like how difficult that is to answer, and it's almost frustrating. I think the only way I can sort of think of sort of trying to explain it is that it exaggerates every single emotion you can possibly have. You know, we had the absolute highest levels of, you know, laughter. You can tell, you know, we've had a lot of fun. You know, there was incredibly confronting times, and you know, real sadness, real joy, like everything. You know, it's one of those things that you can't. It's so difficult to put into words, and I've almost found that frustrating. I just kind of want to say, can you just do it, and that would make my life a lot easier. Then we could just, you know, we can do the nod, and we've got that sorted. That to me is the biggest challenge, because it's. I don't know. I'm not a copywriter. I'm not good with words, so I just sort of just the nod.
Thanks for that, Ben.
Tom, while you were over there, you obviously saw quite a few of our projects, ones that we are just about to finish contributing to and exit, and other ones that are up and coming. There's a word that gets thrown around so much, and I use it myself, heck that I use it, and it's sustainability. Unpack, what is sustainability? Does it exist? It's a tough one, I know you can handle it.
So, I think in a roundabout way to answer your question, yes, sustainability it does exist, but yes, it's an overused buzzword when we're talking about giving or philanthropic, anything really. I think for me, one of the hardest things to witness on the trip was when I went into the trip, I thought we could solve all problems. That's what we were going to do. We were going to be the white knights who'd ride in and sort all problems out, and then they began to be fixed, and we'd go to the next time. And it's such a naive way of looking at it. I completely get that now. And so one of the biggest shocks for me was going in and understanding that we're working on such a granular level. Like we're working with one man and a group of kids who play soccer. That's not fixing the country. That's fixing a very small part of that community. But that's the way it is, and that's what I learned to accept and have come to really love about everything that we did on the trip. The challenging part for me is watching how other NGOs are giving to communities, and NGOs that aren't associated with the Kain Foundation who walk in still like they're white knights and think they can fix it because they get a plaque on the wall that says blah blah blah, gave this building, blah blah blah, donate to this. And that's not sustainable. We went to outside of the Kain Foundation after we worked on the Uganda Project. I went to another hospital further south in Uganda called Windy Community Hospital. They've got a HIV program that is stopping the transfer of HIV from mothers to children. They've got an 80% success rate. So, and to me that's incredible. But that program has now lost funding, and the program won't, unless it gains funding, isn't going to be running anymore. However, another NGO is coming in and building a hospital, another ward that they don't need, that they don't have furniture or staff to fill it with. But there's a HIV program with a huge success rate that's going unfunded. And for me, that's really hard to come to terms with. It's hard to sit in Australia and know that sort of thing's going on and feeling so helpless that there's not much we can do about it. So when we're giving, and if there's one thing that you take out of hearing us talk and hearing friends and family speaking, that if you're giving to a not-for-profit, be more vigilant and understand where the money's going, how the money's being used. Do they go through a community consultation process? Do they assess the community? Or is it just being thrown at something that they can put their name on the plaque?
And I just think we'll have to wrap it up now, guys. So if you had one piece of advice for future Kain Foundation Uganda Project volunteers, hopefully there's a few in this room, what would that be?
Do it, 100% do it.
Yeah, what he said. But also, I was the only person that had no idea of either the Australian national anthem or the British national anthem, which is pretty poor. So at the point at which I needed to sing them in front of a load of kids that, as you saw in the video, are awesome and amazing and prepared loads of stuff, I was just mouthing, pretending to sing in a really poor way. So that's one thing, practice your singing. And then number two, do it.
Got a few. If you're sharing with them, call it, keep a key to your own money. Have the rabies shot. And if you do feel lucky enough to go over there, just don't hold back. Someone said to me before I went, whatever you do, just have a crack at everything, because harm basically won't come to you and you end up better out the other side. So that's what I did. So give that a crack.
I'd have to say, it doesn't matter how much you give over there, you're going to get so much more back. So I recommend that.
There's nothing to be afraid of. It's a lovely country, and go and experience it. And I would just like to take the opportunity to thank John T. For giving us this opportunity to go there, because without you, this all would not have been possible. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much for being involved today. You're welcome to sit here while we very briefly go through our plans in Uganda, or are we not interrupting? We won't keep you too much longer, but we just thought we'd very briefly touch on, we've been working in Uganda for 5 years, since 2009. We have now got to a fantastic point where we're leaving one of the projects that we've been contributing to, which is actually a really exciting thing, because it means that what we've done, we can step away and now the community can manage it. For the next 5 years, we're not ready to walk away because there's so much need, and we would like to continue to contribute to Ugandan people. So we've started working on our new strategy, and we want to share that with you. Children go to school and grow their own food. Youth learn trades and gain employment. Farmers sell produce and support their families. Women and children are empowered in their homes. And business employees, such as yourselves, can connect and experience projects. One of our major aims is that communities are self-sufficient, so that when we stop working there, things continue to go. This is the future of the Kain Foundation in Uganda. From 2016 to 20, the Kain Foundation's purpose will be to create opportunities for children and youth in need to build bright, healthy and self-sufficient futures. By bright, we mean investing in education. By healthy, we mean investing in nutrition and food security. And by self-sufficient, we mean we hope these communities, and we'll work with them so that when we walk away and we exit, they can manage things on their own. These are some of the key principles that we looked at when we were researching projects, and we have selected 2 major projects that fit within these principles, and we've selected 2 minor projects that we're going to watch for the next couple of years and then continue to fund.
So one of the projects that I really loved when we were over there, so a bit of background, Liza and I ended up spending an extra week in Uganda than the rest of the team, doing the actual feasibility study this year on the new projects that we're going to be investing in. And Landcare was a brilliant project. Having been, I'm sure anyone who's been educated in Australia, you plant trees for a week during high school with Landcare. It's very different over there. It was a brilliant, brilliant project. Not only are they creating money for themselves by selling into the community all of the trees and all of the food that they've been growing, they're feeding the children, they're sending food home with the children. They grow medicinal plants as well for all stages of life and for a lot of the, specifically HIV over there as well. So it's an incredible project. From 1st of July, we'll be embarking on 4 schools, getting the Landcare project into those 4 schools.
Some of the second major project that we're going to work on is in the community of COBETT, which is quite a different community. It's a community absolutely devastated by poverty. When you walk into COBETT, you don't get welcomed with open arms. And I don't want to sound morbid, but there are problems that exist when a community is so affected by poverty that they can't even stand up and help themselves. So we're working with a guy called Tony, who was actually a child in this COBETT community. He was given an opportunity to go and be educated in Kampala, and he went on the proviso from the person who gave him the scholarship that once he'd been educated, he was to return to his community and help them. And so what Tony has done, he went and studied economic development, and he's come back, and so far he's built 2 schools. This is one of the schools that he's built. It's made completely out of used wood. It has dirt floors, and the majority of children suffer from a medical condition where worms come up and make their way into the feet, and kids can get really, really sick from it. Tony is all about social and economic empowerment, so He looks at a problem in a holistic way, and he says you can't just go and build a school. You need to work with the families in that area, and you need to work with the local community leaders. So we're actually working with Tony on the development of a farm. We're going to be investing into the cultivation of that farm. The produce that will be sold from that farm will then go on to build a school. We see that as a really, really strong, stable model. And as part of that, we'll be offering 100 apprenticeships to youth of $30 each in carpentry, tailoring, hairdressing, all sorts of really exciting things, microloans. And another part of that is the youth and family workshops. There's a lot of issues such as domestic violence in the homes, so we'll be working with the family. A big part of this project is that it's about a whole community, so you can't just fix one part.
The Watch This Space, we mentioned the Lesser School previously. That is the incredibly enthusiastic principal you see there, who's got some corn in his hand. One of the most gentle men you'll ever meet in your life. We're really excited about looking into the Lesser. We're in the process of doing a needs analysis over there, both with somebody local, and we're going to look at a very slow, progressive, stepped approach to getting their school to a sustainable position.
The one on the right is the Kain Cup, but the project is Kids for Africa Youth Sports Project, which was run by an incredibly ambitious and skilled young leader, 22-year-old Mohammed Asimwe. One thing that strikes me a lot about Uganda is actually the role of youth in society. They are incredible leaders, and we recognise that there's a lot of potential of this young man, and he brings young kids from the slums, uses sport as a way to engage them to stop falling into things like drugs and alcohol and theft and things. So we see a lot of potential here. We're not sure what that project will look like exactly yet, but we're going to be working on it to support him in some way, because we see the power of sport over there. And that is pretty much the Kain Foundation Uganda project for the next 5 years. We are enriched by you attending tonight, because it means that you're willing to hear what we're about to embark on and hear the fantastic stories of these guys. So thank you so much. If you would like to be involved, please give me a call. We would love more corporate partners, because we see this as a collective where everyone plays a really important role. So thank you so much for coming.